Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm all right, sir. And yourself?
Having fun moving around, doing different things in different places.
It's an incredible career of yours. You were born in North Carolina.
Exactly.
Moved to New York at a young age. Your career really took off in the late 1950s, and you were part of a group called the Five Crowns.
Right, exactly.
How did the Drifters come along then? Because it was being part of the Five Crowns that led to you becoming part of the Drifters, wasn't it?
Well, the whole thing that happened with the Drifters situation, the entire group was changed into the new set of Drifters. We, as the Five Crowns, had a little local song out. And we was like a little local group doing records and stuff. And we happened to have a chance to open up at the Apollo Theater. And I think top of the bill was Ray Charles and another thing on Faye Adams and, of course, the Drifters. During the week that we were there, the manager, George Treadwell, got angry with his group, the Drifters, and fired every one of them and hired us as he seen us performing during the week to become the new set of Drifters. Of course, he thought he was joking. Not only joking, he thought he was totally nuts. Okay, well, what we did, at the end of the week, surely enough, and we were just five young guys, man, not even think about really professional singing and stuff. We just doing local stuff. And we ended up signing contracts to become the new set of Drifters.
And your lineup was certainly one of the most memorable lineups even to this day, weren't they?
Yeah, we were extremely lucky. And that's only because we were so young that we in no way could match the sound of Clyde McFadden's Drifters. They were more mature. They had that great, and they were old gospel singers as well. They had the great strong gospel harmony and stuff like that. And so, as luck would happen for us, they had to more or less find a new style for us because we were so young and the voices were so young. Mm. So we ran into great songwriters and producers.
What was it like for you as a young person? That must have been one hell of a life change for somebody so young.
Yeah, well, I think that the most amusing thing was to walk down the street after the records was out and have everyone yelling your name and talking about you. At that time, when you walk along the streets of Harlem, everybody more or less had the same radio station on. So you would hear that song, look like with every step you make. I think that's the most bizarre thing about it.
It's hard to believe I'm saying this, but it's almost 50 years since you left the Drifters and went solo. Was that a scary decision to make after you'd been with all your bandmates for so long?
Well, it wasn't something that I had planned to do at all. I didn't want to go solo. What had happened, we were put on salary, and of course we were sent on the road. Of course we had a contract with Atlantic Records and all that. We had to fulfill the original Drifters dates as well, so we had to go out and work all their shows. And while we were out there, one of the guys saw the contract of what we were actually making opposed to what we were receiving, the salary. So the big complaints started going around with the group, and we got back to New York, made an arrangement to go downtown and talk to the manager. And we did so and got down, and they selected me to be the spokesman.
Right.
Yeah, right, thank you. And of course they say, well, he won't fire you because you're the lead singer of the group. Forgetting that he had fired the entire group before us. Okay? That didn't bother them at all. So I stand up, I make my little speech about we're unhappy and we think we deserve more money, blah, 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 blah. He said, well, if you're unhappy, you could leave. So without turning around to look at the other guys, I walked out of the office. And nobody followed.
Wow.
I was just hoping that by me leaving at that time, with that argument that we were all having with the manager, that we would all walk out. And, so you should never assume. I was told that years later.
I suppose they say everything happens for a reason, and had that not happened, then you probably wouldn't have gone to have the huge success that you've had as a solo artist.
I wouldn't have. The thing that happened that was more, I think, is my lifesaver was when I walked out of the door, and by the time I made up my mind not to go back in and headed toward the elevator, I heard the door open again, and the only person that walked out was the manager of the Five Crowns, who had been demoted to road manager.
Yeah.
And he walked out, and he threw his arms around me and said, don't worry, we'll make it. And he meant it. He used every little bit that he could find of getting me jobs back at the Apollo and getting me jobs in clubs, and things like that. But he really stayed behind me.
How did you feel about it personally? Because these were people that you'd obviously been working with as not just as colleagues, but as close friends for such a long time.
Well, it took a little while, but I finally figured it out. And so much greatness was happening. We were with a major studio. We had some of the best songwriters around us. given a choice, I might have said, I wouldn't walk out the door, So you weigh it against what's good for you. If all of us would have walked out, we've only been going back to being Five Crowns. So understanding the power of what we had been put in and all the rewards that we were getting out of being in that place, I probably would have done the same. To this day, I still speak to the remaining lead guy that lives that was in the group with me.
Because there are many drifters touring around.
I think at last count there was 20,565.
Well, one song that is popular worldwide, it's "Stand By Me," a song that's been with you throughout your career. It's
wow,
one of the most recognised songs of all time, and a song that will live on forever.
I think.
Do you remember the day that you actually wrote that and recorded that song?
Well, I kind of wrote it in my apartment with my wife, and I grabbed the guitar and. To this day, I'm a big fan of Sam Cooke, to this very second I am. And he was with a group called the Soul Stirrers, and he had a song, I think it was Lord, Stand By Me, or Stand By Me, Lord, I can't remember which way he had it. And I just took the Stand By Me out and started writing the song of my own. And that's how I ended up writing it, not to record it. Matter of fact, although I wasn't in the Drifters, my first manager, Lover Patterson, called the rest of the Drifters back together. We all met at his apartment. I rehearsed the song with the Drifters. They sounded great doing it. We went back down to the office that I walked out of. I had the song. I gave them the lyrics. They stood up there in front of the manager, and they were singing the song. And once it was done, he looked over at me. He says, "Your song?" I said, "Yes, it is." He says, "Not bad, but we don't need any more material." So I took the song, and I walked out of the office. Ended up at a session with Jerry Lee and Mike Stoller. And they said to me, "We got a few minutes left over studio time. You have anything you can show us that you might want to do?" And I played a little bit on the piano. They called the musicians back in, and that's how it was born.
Wow. This just shows that some of these things are meant to be, doesn't it?
It's meant to be, for sure, Stevie, yeah.
Tell me about the Stand By Me Foundation that you've been involved with for many years.
Yeah, well, what we do with that is we have kids that's leaving high school, entering college to major in music, and we support them for the whole 4 years that they're in college. And so far we have some great kids coming out. Some going semi-professional, great musicians, and I'm very proud of them.
Is it harder these days to become successful in the music industry, Ben, or would you say it's easier with TV shows like American Idol?
The hard thing is that most of the record companies, they're geared to, I want to make the most money at the easiest times, And apart from a few great singers, they're not really focusing on them that much. So I wish everybody could be like Justin Timberlake or Usher. But to answer your question, I don't think it's as easy as it was during my time. And it seems as if you don't get on the program like American Idol, you don't more or less stand a chance, That's kind of sad because there should be more outlets for young kids out here.
Well, the music you've left us with and will continue to record, I'm sure, will stay with us forevermore. Ben, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Steve, for your time.
Take good care.
Okay, now. Bye-bye.